Hello, welcome to Liz Rocks and Stuff. I'm Liz, and it's time for episode 105 of What's in My Tumbler. We are starting off with Fossick 3, the third subscription box from Fossick, which is Leopard Skin Jasper, Serape Jasper, and Moroccan Stripe Jasper. These are coming out of stage 3, so they will be going into stage 4 to be done next week. It was very cold when I was doing this rinsing outside. Small update about that, by the way. After 5 years of living in our house, we have finally found the shutoff for the outside spigot that doesn't need to be shut off in the winter and is somewhat convenient to my office. So I can probably permanently be rinsing outside. I might switch up to stop rinsing in rocks and do it more in like the side of my yard that is leaves and pine straw and other stuff, because the rocks are hard to clean. But yeah, we'll deal with that later and just see. But anyway, so just looking through these rocks, making sure nothing has chipped or broken since it started this last cycle. Get it put back in the barrel, and we're going to do a soap cycle. And by the way, my Yuna is in my office playing with a squeaky ball. So if you hear that, that's what's going on. So I tried to put that on and then realized that there was actually some debris that had gotten caught in my tumbler. So we had to take that out to make sure that the lid would go on and therefore seal and everything would work great. All right, so let that tumble for a few hours. Obviously, that's some gray foam there, so it did need a nice rinse, a good wash. So now that this has been washed, we're just going to put it all back in the barrel. And then it's going to get a tablespoon of borax and 3 tablespoons of final polish. Excited to see how these turn out next week. Jasper always turns out so nicely that I'm really excited to see how these are. And I love the rocks from Fossick. Enjoy the squeaky. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but she is right behind me squeaking her toy. All right. I also didn't have my dry erase marker when I did the first round of rinsing, so I just didn't relabel anything for that. All right, moving on to glass. This is the second batch of glass. And this was, I put it in stage 2 last week because I couldn't remember if it had already been through stage 2 or not. I think it had, but it's not going to hurt it too much to go through it again. So we're going to do a really good rinse, and then then we're going to do a look. That has some gnarliness. That is not going to come out. I would have to grind that out, and I don't feel like inhaling glass fibers, so we're just going to leave that. But we're going to look through all of these, make sure everything is looking good. It all is doing great. Some of these are really cool colors. Like there's a blue rock in here that is a really nice, pretty clear blue glass that I'm excited to see how that turns out. And then put that all back. So much media. And I'm already decided I'm going to pick out the bigger stuff that's actually still good in here and probably toss a lot of the little itty bitty tiny pieces, or maybe reserve those only for doing like obsidian and glass because they're such a pain. They stick to everything. But we're going to get that, go through a soap cycle for this. And like I said, I didn't have my dry erase marker, so instead of writing soap, I think I wrote it on when I put it on the tumbler because it was inside and I didn't feel like walking inside to get it. But yeah, so now that has gone through a soap cycle, so we are going to do another quick rinse and just dump it all back. Do you mind? Anyway, so dump it all back into the barrel. Maybe this will be the entertainment today. She's just squeaking. Dump it all back in, and then this is going to get some water and some stage 3 grit and a tablespoon of borax. I did 3 tablespoons of stage 3 grit. Again, it's a waste. It doesn't need it when you have this much media, but I forget. So yeah, then we're just going to put the lid back on, and stage 3, we're ready to go. And now Rainbow Reboot. This is the retumble of the various color. I like to say rainbow quartz, but then that implies that each piece is like a variation of color. But no, it's just a rainbow of colors of quartz. So there's, you know, red, yellow, orange, green, blue, purple, blah, blah, blah. Gonna do a quick sort on this. This is probably about the third batch of this that I've been putting through stage 1, and the cherry quartz is really the only stuff that needs more time, and that's the really red stuff. So after I do this sort, and I only looked at the big rocks, I could not be bothered to look at all of those little chips of the cherry quartz and the green quartz. It's quartzite. The green is quartzite. But so I just looked at that. The most of the small stuff is smooth enough as it is, so I didn't really bother looking too much at it. I just said, hey, that's enough sorting here. I couldn't be bothered. So off camera, what I'm doing is pouring all of that into the cup. I don't know why I took it off camera. I don't remember taking it off camera, but I did. So this is the sounds of me dumping all of that into a small container. And then that is some of the first round of quartz that I did a while ago. It's never went through a soap cycle. It also was stored dry, so, you know, this will be fun. So I'm just throwing in some of the small stuff just to top it up a bit. Tablespoon of ivory soap, and then that's going to go to a soap cycle. After the soap cycle, we are going to rinse it all off, just like everything else. Put it all back in the barrel, and then this is going to go into stage 2. So 3 tablespoons of stage 2 grit, a tablespoon of borax, and that is ready to go. You know, sometimes when I don't have anything to say, I just skip ahead, but I'm just going to let you guys listen to the squeaks that are going on in my office. And moving on to my backyard, these are the rocks that I found in my backyard. I don't really have I don't have any confirmation of what they are. But I had a suspicion that there was too many big rocks in this, and kind of confirmed with how much grit was left in the bottom that these just did not get a good tumble. So what I do is I'm going to look at all of the big rocks. Now she's barking at it. All of them need more time in stage 1. I'm pretty sure these are all quartz. They might be granite. I don't know. That's pretty much what we have here. So I put everything back in, and then I took out one of the big rocks because it needs more. One, it needs a variety of sizes, and 2, it was a little too full. So after I put the water in, I was like, I still think it doesn't have enough in it. So I put in 2 tablespoons of stage 1 grit in the borax, and then these are just some of the chips of the red and cherry quartz that I had, just to add a little bit more variety to help carry that grit around a bit more. So hopefully that helps. I'm not going to be keeping those chips. I'll keep the gravel, but not the chips. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope that this was interesting. I hope you enjoyed the commentary from my puppy. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and I hope to see you back next week.